Montreal police had said they would be ready if and when a mob formed after the game. And most people, police included, evidently thought the mere presence of uniformed officers around the Montreal Forum would ensure they wouldn't be needed. And they weren't, for a while at least. The crowd confined itself at first to the usual post-victory foolishness.
Canadians won! It's great! Awesome! All right!
But then came the moment when the miscreants in the crowd, many of them drunk, by this time far outnumbering police, started itching for some freelance devastation. For no particular reason, people's cars were first. In no particular order, private vehicles were overturned and generally trashed. By this point, police were beginning to realize their impotence. Some were terrorized in their cruisers by teenagers. Others just left their cars to the mercies of the rioters. The mob then surged down St. Catherine Street, ready to do some shopping. In Montreal last night, no police meant help yourself. This grocery store was one of the first to go. It yielded ammunition for a messy food fight, but not much more. This music store was far more profitable once the front window was gone. This girl's prize for the evening was a single compact disc. And a nearby clothing store's window display was cleaned out in a matter of seconds. Nothing like the anonymity of a crowd. Some merchants, realizing no one else was protecting them, guarded their storefronts all night long.
I just have to stay here all night and try to stop them. That's all I can do.
Did that come in handy?
Oh yeah, it's very handy. I use on one person even.
Sporadically, police tried to restore order. They closed in on this riot, but drew the attention of the mob, and the police were in turn forced to flee. Elsewhere, perhaps realizing that police had orders not to attack, rioters just laughed at them. This youngster danced mockingly in front of injured officers as his friends lobbed beer bottles from behind. And not far away, a phone booth burned, a young rioter making sure the flames didn't die down. Finally, about 1 a.m., hundreds of police in partial riot gear rallied, herding the crowd away from the area of the Forum. With bottles and projectiles raining around their ears, they charged again and again and again, without resorting to tear gas or any other device but their nightsticks, remarkably restrained in comparison to past clashes with large crowds in Montreal. By 2:30 a.m., St. Catherine Street was reopened to traffic, albeit ankle-deep in garbage, shattered glass, and broken bottles. And Montreal police were no doubt trying to come up with some kind of an explanation for how things ever got this far out of control. A long, hot night in Montreal, one that didn't have a lot to do with the cold weather sport that kicked it off. Neil MacDonald, CBC News, Montreal.
At 4 o'clock this morning, just before dawn, the cleanup began. There were city employees out, and volunteers, ordinary Montrealers who just wanted to help. And there were angry store owners, plenty of them.
Very, very bad. You know, it's hard to, put in words.
As the sun rose, the rioters, or at least most of them, had gone home. Store owners were learning the extent of the damage.
C'est fou. Le monde est fou.
It's crazy, this man says. The world has gone crazy. People stealing, people getting hurt over a hockey championship.
We don't even have insurance. No insurance, man. Just no insurance, man. Times are hard. Can't pay it, you know.
This is going to make news all over the world. And then how's Montreal going to look as a tourist center? It's a shame.
First, the anger and shock. Next, the recriminations and questions. Montreal won the Stanley Cup in 1986, and there was a riot then, too. Why, store owners ask, this time round, were police not better prepared?
They told us we had plenty of protection that night. They had plenty of police force. They were prepared this time. Not like 86, apparently not.
Where were the police? They were not there.
The man on the spot, the chief of police, being grilled today by Montreal media. Alain Saint-Germain called the riot a breakdown of the social contract. He said his officers were hopelessly outnumbered, and he concluded they did what they could.
Police officers were there. We were over 200, and in just half an hour we were over 600. We made a lot of interventions, and the proof, we had over 100 arrestations. So I think it's a complete different dossier than the one we had in 86.
And now the city waits to see what will happen tomorrow. The Canadiens had planned a large victory parade that would have come along here, the site of the riot. Instead, there will be a small parade along another route. And today, one of the Canadiens players pleaded with the public.
Please don't be too aggressive. It's we gave a great show throughout all the playoff, and the team wasn't aggressive by winning the Stanley Cup. So please, we're asking our fans not to be.
And finally, a big public party that was to happen here at the Forum tomorrow has been cancelled. In this area of the city, nobody's much in the mood to party. Tom Kennedy, CBC News, Montreal.
There is one bit of good news for Montreal business owners. Many of them will be entitled to insurance compensation, even though most policies don't cover damage caused by rioting. The Insurance Bureau of Canada says the overnight vandalism and looting will not be classified as a riot.